Okay, I'm back. I took my rings off, but I kind of decided, you know what, I'm not going to really use my hands because, one, I have nails and I don't want a lot of dough getting under my nails. So I'm just adding the rest of this flour, and we'll see if this is too much flour, which it might be, but you know what, I kind of lied. Now, this part, you're going to want to make sure that your hands are thoroughly dry when you do this. I'm just going to quickly dry these. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my hand, and we're just going to incorporate the flour. Yeah, and this is a little bit dry, so what I need to do is I need to not stop this, I'm not going to stop the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab some milk. And it's always a good idea to have just a little bit more milk. Unfortunately, I don't want to take a chance. I'm just going to add a little bit of milk. You don't want to add a lot of milk to this, but just enough milk to incorporate the rest of the flour. I'm going to have to add just a little bit more milk. Now, does the milk have to be warm? No, it really doesn't. You just want to make sure that you're incorporating all the flour in. And unfortunately for you guys, I'm going to have to move this over here. So the camcorder, I'm going to put you guys on the pedestal like I would if I had the phone, and this could be a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to knead this, and I probably now need to put more, because this is getting sticky. I probably need to put a little bit more flour in here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more flour, so I'm just going to sprinkle. And you want to just do, if you need to add more flour, do a little bit at a time. Don't do a great amount of flour. I'll move the recipe over there. So, and I apologize to you guys back there that are watching this. You just want to do this until your dough is not really all that sticky. This is kind of doing it. Let's see if I can get all of this dough off. Now this is going to have to rest for at least half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and it's going to double in size. Right, now what I'm going to do, and unfortunately my counter is not clean. No, I'm going to leave it in the bowl. If I try to roll, although I can, you know what, I can do, get my board out, that off to the side. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to see how tacky this is. It's a little bit tacky, but as long as it doesn't stick a lot, what I'm doing is I'm just kneading the, yeah, this is a little bit tacky, but it's not overly tacky, although if I'm not careful, I'm going to drop the thing. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to mix all of that in, and I might have to add a little bit more flour because as you can see, it's getting a little bit tacky. So I'm just going to add a little bit more flour to this. I'm just going to knead this. Now, putting a wet towel underneath the breadboard, if you're going to knead it by hand like this, would be probably beneficial to do. Now, you might be asking, when am I going to put the bread in? Well, this has to proof for about an hour and rest. So, okay, so that's good. I'm going to wash out my bowl really fast. I'm going to move you guys up. You guys aren't really going to see this. I'm trying hard not to scream at you guys. Shadow, I'm so sorry, honey. Let me wash this bowl really fast. And this is a really, really good bowl, so I always want to make sure that I don't break it. I don't know why they don't make good metal bowls anymore, but they quit making the ceramic bowls. They make metal bowls and plastic bowls, but finding the nice ceramic bowls, and even Pyrex makes a version of clear bowls, but they're not like they once were. And I don't know if your grandmothers had the Pyrex colorful bowls in the 1970s. But Pyrex made beautiful bowls that were red, yellow, blue, and I think green were the color of the bowls. And there may have been an orange one, I don't remember. But I don't have that set anymore because that set eventually broke. All of those bowls broke. And I think I still have maybe one bowl left, but it's not the big red bowl. I should have had my husband do this because I'm going to break something in here. I'm going to stop the video for a second on both of you guys. I'll be right back. I just need to clean some stuff. So I'll pick this right back up in a minute. Okay, I'm back. You guys both are seeing this. I had to turn on my main oven at 350 degrees just because the bowl size that I decided to use for the yeast dumplings will not fit in my toaster oven. My toaster oven is only this big, and this bowl is my biggest bowl. So I'm just going to keep this covered, and if you do it on top of the stove where you have the oven on and you have the vent fan, don't put your dough directly on top of that vent. Just put it next to it. And what you're going to want to do about every 20 to 25 minutes is just rotate the bowl, and you're going to do that 4 times. So this is going to do, it should almost double in size. So on a hot day like this, it'll probably take an hour, maybe a little bit less. On a cooler day, you might have to go a little longer with your time. So I'm just going to let it raise. And then what we're going to do, let me see. It should be, okay, you're going to flour breadboard with empty dough on it and shape the flour into long dumplings and cover with a cloth. And then using a very large pan filled with 3 inches of water, you're going to bring that to a boil. Now this one says to cook it for 15 minutes. I think that's going to be a little bit too, I don't think that's going to be quite long enough, but what you're definitely going to want to do is you're going to want to turn your dumplings halfway through. So at the 7.5 minute mark, flip them over, although this doesn't say that, so I don't know how this is going to work, but when we get to that point, we'll get to that point. Now, like I said, oops, I don't want that going into the toaster. Like I said, you're going to need a large pot, and I'm going to bring the one that I do down. So, one of you guys are not going to be able to see this. I think I'm going to use the camcorder. I'm going to attempt this. No, actually, I'm not, because the bowl is heavy. So, I'm going to stop each video right now. I'm going to go grab the pot, because that would be the easiest thing to do. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I got my oblong, and I'm going to hold this. You're going to be able to see this on the iPhone. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this on the camcorder. There you can see. I have my oval all clad, or not all clad, I'm sorry, this is the Le Creuset. This is cast iron. If you have a pan that's oblong versus the round, it would be better to do this. If you don't have an oblong pot like this, you don't need to run out and get one unless you have the money to spend and you can find one. The next best thing is to get your widest pot. Now this is an 8-quart Dutch oven. You're going to have to be careful with when you go to shape the dumplings, how you shape them, because they have to fit in here without touching the sides. So you may have a lot of dumplings that you need to do, but you can only do so many at once. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. So having a longer pan definitely would be more beneficial. Now you might be wondering, when do we add the bread to the dumplings? Well, when we shape them is when we're going to fold in the cubed bread and put that in there and make it. Like I said, I don't know how this recipe is going to come out. So bear with me. This is only the second time I've ever made yeast dumplings in my life. And there might be a reason why I make my grandmother's dumplings and I don't do the yeast dumplings. Speaking of bread, you're gonna want some bread cubes, and if you followed my other dumpling recipe, same type of bread cubes. You want them just in small cube size, and you want them to be stale. You do not want to use fresh bread in this. This will not work with fresh bread. It has to be on the stale side and the dry side. So nothing brand new, nothing wet. So, and like I said, you just want to feel the side of your bowl to make sure that it's not getting too hot, and rotate the bowl periodically. Now, if you want to completely skip this step, you certainly can. If you have a warm area in your house, or you make a lot of bread doughs, wherever you keep your bread doughs when they need to proof, wrapping them up in a lot of towels, you can certainly do that. I don't have that option because it's so hot. I have the air conditioning on, so everywhere I could put this, it's going to be it's going to be cold in the house. So I just have the oven on for an hour or so. And hopefully you guys didn't hear that fly that landed on the thing. So I'm going to stop each video. I'll pick this up a little bit later, and we'll get going with the dumplings. Okay, I'm back in the kitchen. Hopefully, yeah, that's recording, you're recording. Okay, it's been about 45 minutes. The dough is not quite to the top, but it has definitely doubled in size. And it's a little bit warm. I'm going to show you guys on each camera. And I'm going to actually turn off the oven now. It has gotten incredibly hot here. It is already on my thermometer upstairs in the bedroom. It's showing that it's 98 degrees outside. So it is getting incredibly hot. I'll be right back. I need to help the dog out. Okay, Bob! Can you help me? Oh, there you go. I gotta move I gotta tighten your nails. Why? She got caught. Sorry, my Pomeranian's nail got caught in the grate. So, let me get set up really fast, and then we'll get started. Just washing my hands because I touched the dog. And I'm getting all the dry yeast off of my hand. And I know one of my loyal viewers commented on the bonus video that you guys saw on Sunday that the video was coming out really distorted, and that was just a bonus video. It wasn't, that was me kind of showing you the setup of the new camera and stuff. And unfortunately, my husband's gonna kind of kill me because I got flour all over the stove, and he really cleaned this out. So this next step with your long pot, and you're not going to be able to see this on the iPhone, you will be seeing this on the camcorder. You just want to fill it with 3 inches of water. You don't want to fill it to the top, and the reason being is your dumplings, when it boils, you don't want all the water to boil out. So I'm going to fill my pot with hot water. Now, I've seen the videos with this being done where they only use a little bit of water and then they flip them. You don't really want to do that with these because what can happen is you can actually overcook them. And 3 inches of water, you might not need to flip these actually, because 3 inches is quite a bit of water. So I'm just going to fill it with this much. I'm going to tip you guys over so you can see how much water and how much you want to have a good amount of lip on your pot. And I'm going to do the same thing with you guys, so bear with me. You might hear a little shaking, and that's just the camera cover that bangs. But you can see here I have about that much leeway, and that's what you want to do with your dumplings. You don't want to get them, you don't want them to be have too much you don't want to have too much room in there. And I'm using my center burner. Let me dry my hands because this next step is going to be a little bit interesting. Now it says you should flour the cutting board. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flour down on my cutting board. And you guys on the camcorder are going to go where I normally put my iPhone. And I'll get this out of the way in a second. So you guys won't necessarily be able to see this, but I'm putting a little bit of flour on the flour board. And let's see if I can zoom you guys in. You guys might be able to see this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the dumplings out of the bowl. And you really don't want to mix them or knead them too much, just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bread cubes. I'm just going to use my hands. I'm just going to put some bread on the center, and hopefully, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. I'll move the iPhone so you guys can see this. And same with the camcorder, because I don't know if you guys physically can see this or not. So I'm doing like that. And let me go grab the iPhone. So it should look like that. And don't worry, as we go on with the videos, I'll probably do less and less with one video. I'm just doing this as a bottom. Now what you want to do is you just kind of want to roll this out. You can actually put more bread in your dough. And just kind of, what you're going to kind of do is you're going to kind of knead it. Put just a little bit in here. Like I said, I don't know how this recipe is going to come out. I won't know until they cook for a while. So, now what we're going to do is we're just going to knead it just a little bit to get the bread in. And that's about all you need to do. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a bread knife, is we're going to start cutting this. And I'm going to cut it like that. I'm going to make 3 big doughs, and I'm going to put those off to the side. You guys, again, down here might not see this step. And then with the one big one, what you're just going to do is you're going to shape it into kind of like a loaf. And how big you do is entirely up to you. I wouldn't go too big because remember it's got to fit in the pot. So I'm just gonna do 1 loaf, and that looks pretty good. That'll make some nice size dumplings. And don't forget, these are going to these will actually expand when they're in the water. So now that I did that one, I'm going to do the same thing for the other 3. And this is going to make quite a bit of dumplings. Go ahead, Lacey, you can have the bread. Yeah, this will make 3. I don't want to say loaves, but you want to do them in like a loaf thing. Get away from there for right now. Okay. Now what you want to do, and if one is a little bit small or big, just kind of do it. You want to kind of make it evenly so that there's not, it's not too thin in one spot. And hopefully, like I said, I'll move you guys so you guys can kind of see this. They should look like that. And I'll let you guys see this over here. They should look kind of like that. And what you want to do is, with a clean towel, I'm going to use the one that was covering the bowl, you just want to make sure you don't have flies in your kitchen, but you just want to cover them with a towel while you wait for your water to boil. Once your water has fully boiled on your stove, you're going to set them in. Let me tell my icy to get out of the way. Oh, I got too many dogs in here. I'm going to move you guys up. What you want to do with your dumplings now, I'm going to move the bowl and move you guys back so I can get into view. What you want to do with the dumplings once the water boils on the stove is you want to gently place them in, and you want to place them 6 sides. So if they're raising a little bit more, the puffy side up. And let me double check. Something doesn't seem right with that wording. Is it up or down? I can't remember. It's a long recipe, so bear with me for 1 second. Okay. Should be almost now. If I empty the dough on it and shape it into, well, it says 4 long dumplings and cover with cloth. I did 3 large. Using a very large pot, fill with 3 inches of water, bring to a boil. Insert 1 dumpling at a time onto boiling water, placing the raised side of the dumplings. So if the dumplings raise more when they're underneath the cloth, you want the raised side up. And keep the water boiling throughout the cooking and cook 15 minutes. Like I said, the 15 minutes seems a little bit too less. I would probably go about 20 minutes at least. And I'm just going to place my cover over it. Now, it doesn't say that it has to be covered. However, I probably would cover the pot and hope that the water doesn't boil out. Okay, I'm just reading it. It says place the raised side of the dumplings, facing down. I'm sorry. You're going to put the raised side. So if they raise, you're going to put those side down. And keep the water boiling throughout the cook. It doesn't say, do not take the cover off during this time. So once you place them in your boiling water pot, you are going to want to put the cover on, and you don't want to take the cover off for its cook time. So we'll see what it's like in 15 minutes. I'm going to play, like I said, I'm going to play a little bit with the recipe and see how that goes. I'll be back once they've fully cooked. I don't think I need to show you how to place them into the pot of water. I think everybody understands that concept. So when I bring them out, I'll show you guys how you cut them and what you need to do. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I'm back. Hold on, I gotta do the joys of doing two cameras. Okay, I'm back. So both of you, my water is boiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the dumplings and I'm going to put the raised side in on the bottom. And I'm going to take the other one and put the raised side on the bottom. And I'm only going to be able to do two at a time. So I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to start the timer for 15 minutes. Not 30. Oh, yeah, I can go to full 15. Okay, so 15. I've got one dumpling that's on the cutting board that just needs to kind of rest. And that's fine. If you're doing a big batch of these dumplings or you're doing a big amount and you don't have like a really wide pan, don't worry about it. Do what fits into the pan. Do that for the time, and then when that's done, then you can add your other one in. But make sure you keep the water boiling throughout the entire 15-minute cook. I'm going to check them at 15 minutes. Like I said, 15 minutes seems like it's going to be not quite the right amount of time, but I could be very wrong. So I'm going to check it at 15 minutes, and then if we need to do an adjustment with our time, we'll do it from there. So I'm going to stop both videos. I'll be back shortly and show you what transpired.